I'm recording this because I'm going to use whatever I teach you today to help me make other trainings. Is that okay with
All
you?
right. Yeah, you got me when I'm looking real sharp.
I think you look great, to be honest with you, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Um, Sweet. So, questions were best way to present myself in an intro video. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to have notes up on my screen, and I'm going to share my screen while I do this. And I'm going to have ChatGPT, and we're going to, because I can come up with lists myself, but ChatGPT can do it quick
Mm.
because it types faster than I do. So don't replace you with ChatGPT. That's what I'm trying to say. But we're going to use it as a tool today. So, all right, keep it simple. I'm going to share my screen. How you doing today, by the way?
Not too bad. It's been a pretty nice day. First, I just worked 5 days straight for the Labor Day weekend, so it's nice to. I mean, I worked today a little bit, but it wasn't on my feet waiting tables, so that was nice.
Oh, that's right. You're still doing that. We got to get you out of doing that.
I know.
So, yeah, I'm going to tickle you if you don't stop waiting
Uh-oh.
tables. Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
No, no, I
So,
do not.
let's see. Intros and interviews. This will be the notes. So this will be draft. Draft. Yeah, I'm gonna build the best sales course I can because shit out there is good, but it can be better. So I need your help. So whatever comes to mind today, any blocks. So we'll put fears, we'll put ideas, beliefs, thoughts, feelings, um, and we could put desires. I think it is for the tools. Put that down here, and then you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm going to go rapid fire, but when I ask you a question, you take as much time as you'd like to answer it. Okay.
Okay.
So, what is the issue you have with presenting yourself in an intro video?
Um, I think a lot of it is I want to figure out the best way to answer the questions, and I don't know exactly what everybody is looking for. I have a general idea of it, but I don't know, especially considering I'm not super experienced, so I can't just lean heavily into like I have, X show rate, close rate, whatever it is. I can't lean into the statistics. I have to present myself as a person so that they would see me and think like, oh yeah, regardless of experience, this guy is going to be able to be good once. All right, get off of the fucking keyboard. This guy's going to be great once he actually gets some experience and gets some training under his belt, right? Um, and so that's the biggest thing. I think part of it is also like having good energy over the Zoom call without just shouting at my camera is another one. I'm not exactly sure how to, I guess, portray that the best.
Okay.
Um, those are the two main ones, I'd say. Or I guess
So
the
what? Go on.
no, I mean it was more than two, but yeah, just the few main issues that I feel like I've run into.
Got it. All right. I'm going to put stuff just on the left hand side. You can use this as inspiration, but you do not have to, like, if this doesn't resonate with you or if it's feeding you an answer, don't use it. All right. You don't have to say that that resonates with you because we can't try and solve a problem for you that doesn't exist for you. Right.
Mhm.
We can only solve problems that you feel exist for you. Right. And then make them non existent, and then you'll have no problems. Because technically, we won't solve any of these problems by doing anything. We'll solve these problems by shifting some kind of perspective. Because the only difference between somebody who does really good at an interview with no experience and the difference between that kind of person and somebody who does poorly on an interview with no experience is going to be how they view the world and see themselves and how they communicate, right? That's going to come from clearing out some mental stuff. All right. So hey Athena, thank you for the help you've given. If you take all the data you know about sales reps, write a list of all the problems, beginner and intermediate. So let's say 1 to 2 years experience sales reps have when interviewing and doing introduction videos. So I'm just gonna have this generate over here. All right, cool. So best way to answer the questions. What would keep you what are you worried about happening if you give the wrong answer?
Um, I think in the back of my mind, a lot of it stems from me knowing that I don't have a ton of experience. And that being something that like when I've gone through interviews previously, that has always been the big holdup. Like I feel like I can present myself well and talk well. Um, and that's what I've been told is that I do well in these interviews, that I'm like I've been told, you know, you're a sharp kid, but you just don't have the experience really that we're looking for is the thing that I've heard a few times. And so I feel like it's almost like a fear of them realizing that I don't have that versus somebody who does have that kind of experience who is also interviewing for the role.
Got it. All right. And how do you what is a best answer? Or what is a how could you tell that you gave the best answer you could?
Not sure. Um,
How do you measure it?
I don't really know if you could measure it, I guess. I mean, really only off of the feedback of the interviewer.
Okay. So you can't judge and analyze the quality of the communications you send?
No, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can, what's keeping you from producing the highest quality of communications to send?
Um, it may just come down to like a lack of reps. You know, if I do 100 interviews, I'll be better at doing interviews than if I've only done 10.
Bullshit. My first sales interview, I walked in and I got it. No experience, 19 years old. They want people above 30. It was car sales. I walked in and I didn't leave until they gave me the role. What do you think is different between how I showed up then and how you're probably showing up? And I don't have anybody else to compare to, but I'm also really great at interviewing. So I'm going to use myself. So I'll pick it next time I
Um,
have a problem about a skill I'm bad at.
I'd say, I mean, probably from the sound of it, persistence, confidence in going into it, and then just a general like belief that you are the best fit for the role.
What was the first or the second? Genuine belief of
Um,
what?
that you are the best fit for the role.
Okay. How much how much time do you spend before an interview getting into the universe of the company and their needs and wants?
Not a ton.
Is
I
it
spend a little
zero?
bit of time. It's not zero, but it's closer to zero than a lot. It's definitely, you know, like, you know, a 10-15 minute quick kind of overview of what it is that they do for the most part.
But do you ever like write out or like hypothesize or think about or consider in any way what their problems are, what their challenges are, what they're looking for in a rep, and that sort of thing?
No, no, not
Okay.
not in the not previously. I haven't.
So if you were hopping on a sales call and then you gave a pitch at the end of the call and it didn't take into consideration the discovery or anything they shared about themselves on the call, and the pitch was just a flat out pitch, what would if I did that, what would you say about me?
That you just didn't pay attention at all, or
Yeah,
you're not. Yeah.
yeah, right. So your interview is actually a pitch, and
Mhm.
you're supposed to do the discovery beforehand. Like let's zoom out a little bit. When you look at um how companies used to, like how a sales rep used to operate, they would enter they would research a company before going to sell to them. They would know their annual revenues, they would know the challenges of the specific department they were pitching for. Let's say they were pitching for parts, and it's a car manufacturer, and they manufacture parts, and they're wanting to offer different wiper blades, for example, because they've gotten some data from the dealership that they get complaints about their wiper blades, right? So then they want to try and sell them some wiper blades because that's the product that would seem to fit their needs the most right now, and that's an introduction, and then they can sell them more parts like carburetors and this and that, right? So they would do research, they would get to know the company, they might call other people in the company who aren't in the parts department, they might call people in service who put
Bless
the
you.
parts in the cars, thank you, who put the parts in the cars, right? And they would learn about the problems that service people have with the parts, right? And there might be a long list of complaints they have about the parts. And then they talk to the parts department. They might learn that in parts, they um, the margins are too small, and they're not able to complete repairs with profit, right? Now, they might learn that in the process. So then, great, they need cheaper parts that are higher quality. Now you know what their needs are, right? But you went and interviewed into the discovery, and that was the sales process previously. And then, whenever you went to the owner or the general manager, whoever is running the place, then you'd have your pitch prepared based off of all that data.
Mhm.
Now, whenever you go into an interview, your pitch is you, it's all your answers. And if your answers aren't tailored to their needs, are you very good at sales?
No.
So, why would they hire you?
Right.
If you can't sell yourself, how can you sell their product? What do you think?
Yeah. No. That what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
Did I hit something?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That
So,
definitely. That yeah. Putting it that way makes it make a lot more sense, especially coming at it from that point of view of like what it is that tailoring it towards what it is that they need rather than just seeing it as like you're just kind of fitting into a role.
yeah, exactly. Um, because that's your pitch. Your pitch is you. You are a package of things to them, right? You're a spiritual being, and you have experiences recorded in your mind, and you can do lots of magical shit as a spiritual being. But beyond all that, what they're looking for is just somebody who can fit the bill of what they need. And why do they want experience?
Because it just proves that you can do what you're saying you can do.
No, it doesn't. I had 2 years of sales experience before I came into the online space, or a year or whatever, and I performed poorly for 2 years. I made very little money. I made like 20 grand a year in sales for 3 years straight. So, should you hire me because of my experience?
No,
Oh, why not?
because it's not doesn't sound like very good experience.
Right. I'm still
Mhm.
like in my figuring it out phase. I haven't overcome enough mental stuff to be able to confront the subject of sales. It's too difficult still. Right. So, not super experienced. How to handle the objection. So basically, do you feel like you're handling the objection of not super experienced very well?
Um, no, I don't think so.
All right, cool. What's the first thing you do when you get an objection? What's the first step?
You isolate the objection.
Well, you got that. You're not
Yeah, that
experienced enough.
makes.
So now what do we
um,
do?
you go for a reframe.
False. You fucking silly goose. Derek, I just gave you an objection. I don't got enough money. What do you need to do next?
Question the belief first.
False.
Oh.
Who are you learning from? You don't have to tell me because I might use this recording, but whoever you're learning from is teaching you false data. You need to understand it.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you fully understand the not super experienced objection yet?
I mean, I guess not when you give the example of having a couple of years of experience but not having the numbers to really back it up.
Yeah, right. So, why do you have you ever asked them why do you want more experience?
Ow. Honestly, I don't think I have.
So, you're telling me they gave you an objection, and then as soon as they gave you the objection, what did you do?
Pretty much just accepted it.
Oh, okay, got it. I guess should keep doing that.
Yeah.
Or hear me out. So to accept objection not experienced enough. All right, cool. You're gonna run that on the tools. You're gonna like that one. I guarantee it. Um, all right. So let's understand why why do you think they want someone who's super experienced?
Um, I think that the right kind of experience does show that someone has the capabilities to do the job well, but it also is going to it's more of an eliminator, I feel like, than a qualifier, if that makes sense. Like it gets rid of people who they think are just bottom of the barrel. Like if you have no experience, no training, you don't even know what sales is, you just want a job. They're getting rid of that bottom of the barrel of people immediately with that.
Okay.
I think as well as that, like again, having the right experience gives them a good idea of not needing to, or it gives them the ability to kind of throw you into the role without having a ton of extra training. Because that's one of the ones that one of the places that I interviewed at that I really wanted to get into. Their whole thing was that it was the experience question or the experience objection, but it was because he said that he didn't have really the time to train anybody right now. The sales manager, he was like, I don't really have the time to train somebody. I need to have someone that I can just kind of plug and play who has a lot more experience with the dialer And I can just kind of throw into things with a little bit of background knowledge and have them ramp up to KPI very quickly.
Okay. What's the definition of ramp up? What the fuck does that mean?
Um, the way I understood, I don't know the actual definition. The way I understood it was just get them up to standard progressively.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, then what's standard?
Whatever their KPI numbers are. I don't remember what it was for that company, but a certain amount of sets per month or cash collected, whatever it might be.
Okay. Got it. What other things? What other reasons would someone have for uh giving the objection not super experienced?
Hmm. I'm not sure. I feel like beyond those reasons, maybe a little bit more of a confidence factor, like they believe that someone who has more experience will be more confident in their abilities. But that's kind of just speculating.
Okay. Now you're thinking just of the hiring process. What other reasons would they have for wanting someone who's super experienced? Think of marketing. Why would they want someone who's experienced for marketing reasons or
Oh,
cash flow reasons?
yeah, it saves them money or makes them more money. They're not at risk of they're not at as much risk of wasting leads. Um, yeah, it falls sort of into the hitting KPIs bracket of just, they're not wasting extra money on having someone train with active leads.
All right. So let's take these. Do you feel like this is a full comprehensive list, or is there anything that you would want to add?
Um, no, I mean, I think that's everything.
Sweet. So now let's handle it. So understand it. What's the second part of handling it, or what's the next part of handling an objection?
Um, I have to tell you, my objection handling is really getting exposed here, but understand understand it. Then you want to reframe it.
Hold on a second. I'm looking for a definition. Okay, so what's the definition of objection?
Um, Pushback or initial, I guess, hesitancy or disagreement with making a decision.
This right here.
Hmm.
That's objection. So there's a difference between an objection and an obstacle. These, I would say, are totally objections. A reason or argument offered in disagreement, opposition, refusal, or disapproval. You keep saying reframe, which usually means that you have to shift someone's perspective on something, right? Now, I call it handling someone's belief. Handling, I'm going to get you a definition for handle. I don't like the dictionary definition, so I'm going to look at other dictionaries. Handle. Because the definition I know of is like to bring to a conclusion, right? And in, yeah, handle, finish off, complete, end, cycle on. Excuse me. So end cycle, cycle is start, change, stop. Okay. You start something, change things, and then, or something about the cycle changes. Let's say you are baking, you start the cycle of baking, and then right after you start the cycle, changes are starting to be made, which is you bring out a bowl, you put stuff in the bowl, you mix stuff up in the bowl, and you put it in a baking sheet in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes, and then out comes brownies. End of cycle. You are finished baking. Actually, no, Derek, there's one more piece to the cycle of baking that I didn't mention. Do you know what it is?
Eating the brownies?
No, you gotta
Oh,
let the brownies cool off before you eat them because they have to set or become firm. Otherwise, you'll take them out of the pan and they'll fall apart. So, I've cooked a lot of brownies, in case you were curious.
yeah, I'm not much of a baker.
I just followed what the box said, but beyond that, it's and I believe you can too, Derek. I believe you can bake too. Um, but handle means to finish something off. So if somebody has a belief that you need to handle, that means that you bring them to a conclusion on that belief where you're finished. You don't leave some of it behind. When you handle an objection, it means there's no more objection on that specific topic left. You've finished the cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, an objection would mean they're saying, I don't want to buy for these reasons. That's different than someone saying, I want to buy, but I have these obstacles. I have this fear. I need to talk to my husband, which is really, I'm scared about making another decision on my own because I screwed up last time and I don't have the confidence to do it on my own. Right? And to handle that would mean that you would uncover their actual obstacle, which is the fear, and then handle it and bring it to a full end of cycle, meaning they don't have the fear any longer. Or it's handled enough to where you can move on with the sale. Right?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we say handling, you could be handling an objection, you could be handling an obstacle, you could be handling a belief. Belief is not an objection. An obstacle is not an objection. An obstacle is something in the way. Now, a disagreement technically is something in the way. An objection is an obstacle, but an obstacle doesn't necessarily have to be an objection. An obstacle could be I just don't have the money in the bank account and I have to go deposit money for my check into the bank account. That's an obstacle to closing today. So, how do you handle the obstacle? You collect a small deposit and you get an agreement signed, and you still close the deal today. Still got the deal closed, and the rest of the cash is coming later. So you handled the obstacle. Now the objection would be, I don't want to buy from you because I don't like the product. That's a
Mhm.
reason or argument offered in a disagreement. Opposition. You're against it. You're against. You're against buying. An objection would be you're against it. So most of the things you get on sales calls are people against buying.
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's they're not against buying necessarily. It's more that they are again, they have obstacles in the way, whether it's, fear, or it's usually fear is obviously going to be the biggest one.
Yeah, that's it. So we need to handle your fear around interviews. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to learn how to handle the actual objection, because these, I would say, are objections. They're saying, I don't want to hire you because that's direct opposition. So this is where you need to get good at convincing. This is where sales starts, is when you get an objection, right? Because sales is the act of selling something. And selling something is like persuading, convincing someone to buy. If you pitch someone and they give you an obstacle to buying, you didn't have to do any selling. There was no sales done, except where you collected payment and where you pitched. That's pretty much all the sales that happens. But in my opinion, this is an opinion. This is not based on dictionary definitions. In my opinion, the sale begins when you get objections. The selling begins, rather, when you start getting objections, because that's when you really have to actually handle something. Handling obstacles is easy. Once you learn how, beliefs work and stuff like that, that's easy. But if someone wants to argue with you when they disagree with you, then you really have to get in their universe. And you have to get out of yours. Does that make sense, Derek?
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do here. You following
Mhm.
so far? Now, keep in mind, this is going to handle all of the intro video issues and best way to answer question that you had. Is this too much, or is this too little, or is this just right so far?
No, it's just right so far.
All right, cool. And then this is also how you break out of a rut as fast as possible. Being that you have to handle your own objections, your own counter intentions, your own procrastination, and things like that. Because I just helped a guy break out of a rut. It took us 0 days to do it. All I did is I had him work 8 hours. Instead of being a lazy piece of shit, I had him work his whole workday. And when he did it, he closed 3 deals in 2 days, or 2 deals in 3 days, or whatever it is. I don't know. And he did way more money than he thought he was going to do. Right. So that's how you get out of a sales rut as fast as possible. You work the whole time, and you do it with a fantastic attitude. And if you do that, it's going to be really hard for you to not make money. And you just have to know that the money is coming, even though it hasn't made it to your bank account yet. Does that answer your how to break out of a rut as fast as possible question?
So it's pretty much, I mean, obviously, yeah, just kind of work through it. When you say, I guess, what would be, how would you go about, I guess, keeping yourself in that positive, positive mindset? Because there have been times definitely where, especially doing dials, it's you are ripping dials and either sending just a million voicemails, or even if you're getting people on the phone, it's like you get the lowest quality leads possible on your first on a handful of calls or whatever for a one day, and then it's hard to keep the positive mindset, I guess, when that happens, right?
And for you, it might. I like those days, man, because then I get to just chill out, and then I get to know a lot of people, and cool. I remember one day specifically. I had a 80-year-old woman, couldn't buy anything. We talked for 10 minutes and really enjoyed each other. And then I got talked to another guy, didn't have any money. I said, "Hey, I gotta go." And you know what? It's great practice on learning how to reject others,
Mhm.
because just as much as it hurts to get rejected, it hurts for us to reject others, and that's stupid. It should be very easy for us to do both, because no's just a word, and cool, move on with your life, right? It's not a big deal, but it hurts a lot, right? And then we get in a rut. You are what you attract. So if you continue being a low quality person, or you don't do what you say, or you're not showing up to the degree that you want to, or you're not showing up with a great attitude, you're going to receive people with that same level. could you have figured out how to do exactly what I just showed you how to do so far in this call on your own?
Probably, yeah.
So if you were doing all you could, do you think you'd be attracting prospects that were doing all they could to figure out their problems and finding a way to work with you?
Yeah.
So that's it. You need to have a stronger intention. That's it.
Mhm.
And when you dial, this is it. This is the advice. When you dial, want them to answer. Stop secretly hoping they don't answer. Just like, and don't care how it goes. Bring me an angry guy and let him get super angry at me, and I'll get mad at him, and I'll just ruin the call and get fired. I don't care. Bring it on. Just give me the worst case scenario. Bring it on. When you do that, life is like, I don't really want to anymore. But when you resist it, it persists. It's like the girl who has the crush on you in kindergarten, and she beats you up and punches you because she, it's like that, right? Um, or like the guy who's really really needy and buying all these gifts for the girl and give and completely showers her and overwhelms her with praise and attention. She doesn't want to hang out with that guy, but she wants to hang out with the guy who's like easygoing and fun and like is okay losing her. Right now,
Mhm.
if you're married, it's a little bit different. Two rules for happy living: be willing to experience anything, and don't give anybody an experience they can't comfortably handle. But being able to experience anything, it's hard, but you have to be able to experience the loss of the person who you love, right? If you keep resisting it, it'll probably happen. That doesn't mean you actively try and make it happen. It just means you're okay with it, right?
So
Bring it on.
I guess this is less love advice and more just as a general thing, but I guess you could apply to that same analogy. How do you get comfortable with that? Like how do you get to that point where you are just kind of like, hey, you're able to, I guess like I don't want to say detach because it's it's a very because detachment could be like an apathetic kind of term, but
Yeah,
how do you get to that point where like you're fine either way, right? You're not like chasing, I guess
just be okay
you're not
with it.
chasing, you're not resisting.
You choose, it's a choice. We do all this mental work, but really at the end of the day, what you realize in like I'm going to go through 10 years of mental work, and the only thing that can fuck up a spiritual being is something that he did. That's something that somebody else did to him. So in doing all the mental work, all you're really ever realizing is that somewhere along the way you made the choice which caused this problem. You did it. You did it to yourself. Um, and the reason why I say that is because if that's the end thing that you realize from doing mental work is, you are the one who's causing the stress. You are the one who's causing the fear and getting, putting all your attention in your head and being really attached to the sale and all that sort of stuff. Then you could just choose not to. Now, I can give lots of mental work, desire to, um, you know, close every deal now. I suppose maybe, but it's not really that. It's just be okay going broke. Be okay losing deals. You know, losing deals, being invalidated. Right, that's a big one. And then the desire for validation. Right, because really what it's saying is I wasn't good enough to make this sale. Right, and then you equate that to you're bad at your job, and then you get in your head and you feel bad. Right, or you didn't do all you could on the sales call, and by losing it, it reminds you of how you didn't do all you could. and where you gave up at some point, just how you gave up in the interview process. You said, "Oh, don't have the information now, so I guess I'm not going to look for it." They didn't freely tell me why they want an experienced rep. So I'm not going to fucking look for it. So maybe you're lazy, right? To be lazy, to be lazy, to not be thorough, right? But it's a choice, and it's just being willing to experience the pain. And you say, bring it on. An easy thing to say is bring it on. Bring on, bring it on. Bring on the failure. Bring on the lot. Bring it on. Fuck with me. You think that's going to hurt me? You coming over here and not buying from me? You think that's going to hurt me? Bring it on. Don't buy. Next 10 deals, don't buy. I don't care. Bring it on. You think you're going to fuck with me? You think that's how it's going to go down? You're mistaken. I don't care. I'll go broke. I'll live on the street. And then that's being okay with anything, right? I'll live on the street comfortably. Like I've thought about it. I've literally in my lifetime, me personally, thought about living on the street and being perfectly fine with that. And that's a very easy thing to do. Is you just sit there. What's the thing you're resisting? How can you be okay with that thing happening? And it'll go away if you answer that question enough times. So it's plus, what are you resisting? How can you be okay with that happening? Right? And that's it. If you do that, if you just answer that question over and over and over and over and over and over and over again on, let's say you're resisting losing sales, or you're resisting asking certain questions, and then having someone get mad at you for asking the question, right? Just ask this question over and over and over again. And then the resistance will go away. Or it'll get less, it'll be lessened to the point where when it comes up, you can just kind of brush it to the side and it doesn't bother you anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it on that one. Does that help? Does that answer the question?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Kind of, I mean, it reminds me of like, I don't know if you heard of like the Sedona method kind of thing, but that's a lot of what that reminds me of. But I get what you're saying there. Yeah.
I don't know anything about the Sedona method, but
It's basically that, like kind of questioning. It's basically like sitting with the resistance and kind of just letting yourself feel it, and then getting comfortable with it, pretty much.
I mean, I guess that's okay. Or you could just do this and then get it over with. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. It doesn't sound like, I don't know if it'd be harmful or helpful because I've never done it. So I can't pass any judgment on it. But that's it on this one. Now let's go through all the objections, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, cool. Um, so anything you're resisting. And there's other things you can do to get rid of resistance. Whatever you're resisting, do it on purpose. So if you're worried about ruin a call on purpose, like go on the call, say all the wrong things, totally fuck it up, offend them, get them to hang up on you, whole thing. And I mean it. I'm not screwing with you. Do it on purpose. And if you're resisting it, well, you won't resist it anymore because you can do it causatively. And because you can do it causatively, now you stop making the mistakes because you gained control over it. You were making the mistakes reactively. The mind was just reactively doing it without your say so. And now, because you went and did it on purpose and you meant to make all the mistakes, now it's going to be really hard for you to make the mistakes again because now you have control over it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. How you doing over there?
Good, good. I'm doing good. Just I'm absorbing everything.
Did I go over any misunderstandings or anything that confused you?
No, no, I'm not confused. I understand.
Or that's not, is there anything that's not entirely clear?
No,
Like why the love stuff is related to this stuff?
no, no. I understand. I understand why the love stuff is related.
All right, cool. Because I mean, it's just a different area of life, but it's easier to depict. So let's go through handling it. So understand it, handle it, which means you bring it to some form of conclusion where it's handled, it's done with, it's over, right? It's no longer an issue. So how can you handle having the capabilities to do the job well? What are the capabilities that are necessary to do sales well? Can you list them out?
Um, ability to talk, ability to listen to people, and understand them. Um, I guess there's a certain skill set involved with once you understand someone's problem, being able to adequately like communicate what it is that is going to help them fix that or why it is that you'd be able to help them fix it. Um, being able to sell, you know, the end goal versus the actual process itself, not or having the I guess the ability to dig deep and not being afraid of pissing someone off or um making them uncomfortable. Being able to have, I guess this goes in the same vein as the last one, being able to have uncomfortable conversations to help them. Um,
Okay. Okay. Are there any
having
other capabilities?
having conviction, I guess, in what it is that you're selling, or conviction that you can help them.
All right. Anything else?
Hmm. I don't know if this is more of sales by definition, but yeah, the ability to influence someone's decision making. But that's kind of what sales is in general.
Technically, that's what persuasion is. But sales is, if you look at the definition, because I'm building the sales course, that's not in the definition of sales. Sales is just rendering services to somebody for money. That's it. So sales is mostly communication. Actually, no. Uh, all of this is communication. Are there any other capabilities outside of communication which are required to be good at sales?
I don't believe so.
All right, sweet. Um, so understand it. Um, we're understanding it here. Get rid of people who don't know what sales is. Bottom of the barrel. Well, do you know what sales is?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look it up just to make sure. What's your definition of sales?
Um, to transact goods or services um for money.
Ever pertaining to sales, sales or the business of selling, sale, act of selling, selling. Show me selling. Sales, sell, sell. Here you go. Here's another one. To give up for money, accept a price or reward for. But this one is more accurate. And then a persuasive fact in a sales pitch. So this is to give something to someone. Surrender, give up, deliver to, promise, offer up, deliver. And we know it as give up or deliver in return for something. That's pretty much it. Right? But you'll learn more. We're gonna go into the definitions of sales in the program once I get it finished. So you'll see that. But just the basic concept of sales is someone shaking a hand and saying, "Here you go," and the other guy saying, "Thank you." Right? That's pretty much what sales is. Do you feel you understand what sales is?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So this one, do you feel like you could handle this one?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Next one. Throw you into a role without a ton of extra training, no time to train, plug and play, more experience with dialer. Oh, well, let's do the experience with dialer. Can you learn how to use a dialer?
Yeah. I have more experience now than I did back when I initially got that objection. I had never used dialer by that point. I have now. Like I have, yeah, I have no problem. I know how to use a dialer.
Okay. Now, if you didn't, could you learn how to use it?
Yeah,
I can learn. Could you learn how to use it through YouTube if they won't teach you?
probably pretty easily. Yeah.
Okay, I can learn. Okay, got it. So does that handle that objection?
Yeah.
Okay. How about without a ton of extra training, no time to train, plug and play? So without experience, how can you be plug and play?
You could get outside training. Like there's especially for setting, I think that there it's not difficult to get a to find decent training out there that could at least get you up to being a quality enough setter to get hired.
No, but this is before you get hired. This is the interview. This is you handling the objection on the interview.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I've invested time into outside training.
But if you didn't, right?
Oh,
Because what the reason why they want plug and play is for this reason and for time. So really, you're
right.
handling a time objection, right? So what's the time? The way you handle the time objection is I'll get whatever you need done without extra time from you. Or you say, well, any good sales rep will have lots of questions. And if you don't have time, how will he get those questions answered? If you ask that question to somebody who said, we want someone who's plug and play because we want to save time, do you think that would handle it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure? Or are you just saying yeah because you're bored?
No, I think that it would definitely it would at the bare minimum get them to kind of question what they are saying.
Yeah, because if they don't have enough time, then they have a time problem and then they're making that your problem.
Right.
But that doesn't make sense. They should handle their time problems separately. Their time problem isn't a sales rep problem. Their time problem is a time management and a management in general problem. They're poorly, they do poorly at planning and hiring and delegation. And that's why they don't have time. Not because of you. So you shouldn't be the one to suffer because they don't have time. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree.
So, all right. How can you handle the ramp up quickly objection?
Um, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I guess it comes down to kind of having that outside training and just spending more time practicing.
I want to tell you this one. Calling old leads, nurturing, emailing, texting, and dialing relentlessly.
Mhm.
Because if you can't hit KPI with skill, you can hit it with volume. And I'd say without burning too many leads, because it's unrealistic to think that you won't burn some leads when you're doing sales. It's likely. So what do you think? Does this handle all the objections?
Yeah, so I guess a question on the last one, when someone brings that up, like kind of counter to that would be telling them like, yeah, I don't like I can start out by calling all the old leads, dialing relentlessly like crazy until I can build up to that KPI, and you feel comfortable putting me on more of the or you feel comfortable giving me more of the incoming leads.
Not even that. You should be dialing like 100 to 200 people a day. And you should run out of new leads to reach out to very quickly.
Mhm.
So your lead management should be impeccable. You don't need to be good at sales to be good at lead management. The way you do that is you learn how to use a CRM. So you would ask them in the interview process, what CRM do you use? And is it all right if I take some time during my training phase to learn the CRM?
Mhm.
Because then you can handle this objection later on because you asked that question. So it makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, good energy without just shouting at the camera. What makes you think you need to shout at the camera?
I remember when I was first doing my like intro videos. This was a while ago, probably like beginning of the year or end of last year. Um, so over a year ago now at this point, probably. But I had recorded a few videos and I just like I had sent them off to some people that were kind of in the industry and like some recruiters and they were like, yeah, the energy isn't the greatest. Could you kind of pump up the energy a bit? And for me, I feel like the only way that I took that was just be louder and more like, you know, bombastic. I don't know if that's if that's a good word for it, but I want to be able to find a way that actually kind of communicates good energy without just again being just loud and expansive. And maybe that is just the fact that I do need to do that, but I feel like when I do it, it's very forced and it's something that it's difficult to keep up for a long period of time.
Well, yeah, because it's fake.
Right.
But I suppose you can fake it until that becomes real. But do you think I'm high energy or that I have good energy?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it that you notice um, about me and my energy that's different from yours?
I think it's just you're definitely more like free flowing. Um, make interesting faces at the camera, but I mean, you're always in like a good mood. Like I said, free flowing. It's not. You don't spend as much time thinking about what you want to say as I do. I think.
So can you be more free flowing, be in a good mood all the time, and not think about what you're gonna say?
Yes, but I feel like it's difficult to like I don't know how to kind of unlock that free flowing
It's not
state.
something you do. It's something where that happens when you stop doing everything else.
Right.
You stop thinking, and then you become more free flowing. You stop worrying, and then you become more free flowing. You have to stop doing things. It's not an add more, it's a stop doing.
Mhm.
You had a great energy earlier in the call. Were you faking it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe do more of that. Right? Like, I just have fun, dog. Like, record a video, hold up your phone, be dressed well. It'd be good if you had good lighting, obviously, because it's extremely competitive now, in the online space. But hey, my name's Derek, and the fact that you haven't hired me to me is atrocious. It's unfathomable. I can't believe it. Um, and that's you're goofing around, right? Um, all right. All jokes aside, I'll be very serious. You could just that's how I would do it because that's how I like to talk. You could do it however you like to talk. Hey, I'm Derek. Sometimes I get too serious, so I'm just gonna chill out on this, call with my fancy blue light glasses, and I don't have a lot of experience, and you probably shouldn't hire me. You shouldn't hire me because you're looking for someone who, and this is exactly how you do sales. You're looking for someone who can show you that they have the capabilities to do the job well. You're looking for a way to get rid of people who don't know what sales is. You're looking to throw someone into a role without a ton of extra training. You want this person to be able to ramp up quickly and to be confident in their own abilities and to not waste leads and to save money for the company and who makes more money for the company. And you don't want to want them training with fresh leads and you don't want to waste time, right? You don't want to take too much time training them. If that sounds about right, then you probably shouldn't hire me because I'm newer, and if that sounds like you, I can help, but it's probably not going to be in the way that your ideal rep was going to help you because I'm going to have to make more dials than them. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. So if that's cool with you, then let's talk. And if that's not cool with you, then let's not. I literally just took all of the stuff from us understanding the market and put it into a pitch. That's all you got to do. What do you think?
Hmm.
I called out their one and only objection as the first thing in my video. Why else would I talk about something else? When I used to do this, I would send a video and I'd just be extremely aggressive. I'll move there. I'll sleep in my car. I did. I actually moved to a place and slept on a couch for a month. Um, like I'm ready to go. I bring it on. And when they feel that energy and you're ready to go and you want to bring it on, bring it on. Bring on the shitty leads. I don't care. Get me trained up that way. I want more experience. I want to take as many calls as I can and mean it and actually do it once you get there.
Mhm.
Then why won't they hire you? Sounds like a great fit. Here's the things I can improve on. Uh, I'm not always loose and fun, but I can make lots of dials, and I have a pretty good track record on the phone so far for being new, right? So if you're willing to have someone grow with your company, I'd like to be able to grow and become a closer at some point. So that'll me having all this time setting for you will give me plenty of time to be really good at understanding the product. So whenever I close, I'm already ready to go. Right. And I get way more objections when I'm setting anyway. So I'll be great at objection handling by the time I get to a closing role with your company. And now you're already assuming the sale by the time I get to a closing role with your company. You're doing all the things you should do in a sales call, but you're doing it in your intro video.
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I haven't. It sounds like very kind of obvious when you say it, but yeah, I have. I haven't thought about like taking that approach before.
Yeah, actually use sales to get a sales role.
Yeah.
It's simple. Give them what they want. I used to have no sales skills, and I said, I will train all I need to. And I used to stay up. I would work 10, 12-hour days, and then I'd train for 2 hours every night. So I had 14-hour days, 6 days a week. I got one day off a week when I was selling pools. And I trained like a motherfucker. And you can too. Like, this is not the time to sit around and do it the lazy, easy way. It's time to fill your day with 12 hours of activity. And honestly, once you get there, there's no reason to turn it down. If you find a clear purpose for what you want to do with your life and how you want to help people, you should never take away those 12 hours of activity each day. You don't have to. People tell you that you should have more free time to do things which are pleasing to you and your body, but don't really do anything to help others. Those people are not doing anything to help others. They're making money so that way they can please themselves. But the people who have a mission and a purpose to serve others, they'll work 16-hour days, right? Because they got shit to do. They got people to help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your sales pitch should be that you are going to be the cook that's in the kitchen when everybody else leaves. And then you should do that. That's my recommendation. What do you think?
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I don't. I agree. I think that that's probably the best angle to take it from.
So keep it simple. Um, and that's the persistence part is dog. I would go buy one of Grant Cardone's old sales courses if I was you, or one of his old selling books. Let me go on Amazon. Grant Cardone. Closer Survival Guide. That's a good one. Yes, this is the one. Over 100 ways to ink the deal. So, why do you think it's important to have 100 ways to ink the deal?
Um, I mean, so you can take it from any angle. It's 100 different types of people or types of situations that you can still close somebody.
So you don't run out of things to say. And it's more the attitude is, oh, this didn't work. I have 99 other things I'm going to try on this guy until he buys. You could be the worst sales, and I was the worst salesperson using this stuff. Now I'm glad I did it because it's really good stuff whenever you're good at sales, but it sucks when you're not. But look, 31 money closes, 17 time related closes, 3 pressure closes, 3 agreement closes, 8 decision closes, and another 64 of the most creative closes you'll ever find in one book. I would listen to this. And I'd listen to it like 3 times. I used to listen to it on repeat as I drove from sales call to sales call. And it's probably the best use of time I could have had uh, while I was learning sales. Because old fashioned sales, contrary to popular belief, is extremely effective. if you have high affinity and interest and care about people and you're fun, and just as much as new AG sales stuff sucks, if you have no interest and you're not fun and you're all, all the things you shouldn't be on a call, fearful and all that. So that's what I got for you, dude.
All right.
It's the attitude of bite and don't let go. Right? Nowadays, we're all soft and we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Back then, like I used to sit in people's houses. I keep using myself. Some other guy used to sit in people's houses. I would be at their table at like midnight, objection handling them to buy a pool. Like I would just, you got to get bigger balls. And that means that you just decide to not quit. Persistence is deciding to not quit, to not give up. When someone tells you no, you find out why and you handle the objection instead of just being, oh man, I told me no. I guess I don't get the sales role now. I guess I'm just going to go apply to one sales role a week. And then hopefully 1 year from now, I'll get a sales role. Right? So, I don't know. My headphones just died,
Oh, so you can't hear me right now.
so I can't hear you. Let me see if I can change my audio. I don't know, dude. I did a lot of talking. Was any of this useful? Hold on, before you say anything, let me check. Now,
You can't hear me right now. Can you hear me
yeah.
now? Okay. Yeah. Yes, it was.
All right, sweet. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want you to go make money.
I'm going to sleep after this, but in the morning I'll make money. I
All right,
swear.
cool.